ठीक है शुरू so we are started so hi everyone welcome to the today's webinar. So today's agenda of the webinar is how to crack international placements and that too without MS. So like today we have three amazing guests with us, so without no waiting let us just get quick intro from them. So we have first Saib City. Saib, you can give a quick intro.
Hey, Parik, thanks. So yeah, I'm Sahib. I'm here in Berlin for the past 1 year, and I'm working as a front-end engineer in Delivery Hero. Yeah.
Okay, okay. We have another guest, Rohan. Can you give a quick intro?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Rohan. I graduated in 2017 from IP University in New Delhi. I came to Berlin to work for Delivery Hero as an Android engineer in 2018, and I've been at Delivery Hero for the last 2 years. For those of you who do not know about Delivery Hero, you might have heard about Food Panda in India, which was back then a company in Delivery Hero. So yeah, that's where I work.
Ritesh.
Hey everyone. So I graduated recently from Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh. I have joined Amazon Web Services in Berlin, and it's a subsidiary of Amazon. So I have been from before this. I interned at Samsung Research and also been a teaching assistant at Coding Ninjas.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
have just it's just been a month that I have been at AWS.
Okay. So guys, we have all three people, and like agenda will be like first we will be taking the most common questions, and those will be the common queries of all of you. So we have collected them, and these people will be answering one by one. So let's start with the first question with Saib. So Saib, like, can you explain your experience cracking the placement outside India?
Yep, sure. So it was an interesting experience cracking the placement outside India. I mean, I've given a lot of interviews in India, but this was the first time that I was giving an interview outside India in a company where people are working from multiple cultures, and yeah. It was a kind of a different interview experience than it was in India. I mean, the number of rounds are usually more. I remember I had around 7 rounds, and it was also spread across a number of months. So the interview process can also be long. So that's one thing different from that of India. And one important key thing that I think is also different from India is that companies here also focus equally importantly on your soft skills, whether you are a good cultural fit in the company or not. So this was something which I found different from India. Yeah.
So like guys, it's not an easy task. I think 7 rounds is more than enough. So sure. Ritesh, coming on to you, like you have cracked Amazon. Like, can you explain your experience of cracking Amazon?
It's been a wonderful experience. I interviewed at Amazon. The process was like almost similar. There were three online tests, and after that, I had three online interview rounds. It was all virtual because I interviewed during Corona times. And if I say the technical part, it wasn't that tough. You can expect the questions on a range of like medium to hard. And but apart from that, regarding to Amazon, there are some specific behavioral questions as well. And like the interviews were really supportive. They helped a lot during the interviews. They guide you during the interview how to proceed with the problem. If you're unclear with something, you just ask them and it's done. And the communication was very clear. I didn't feel like much nervous during the interviews. The interviews were pretty comfortable.
Sure, sure, sure. Great, great. Rohan, coming on to you, like you can also explain your experience of cracking placements outside India. Hmm.
Yeah. So before that, I would like to highlight what my experience was in India. I graduated in 2017 and I joined a service-based company. But soon I felt that I want to work more on a single product than working for clients. That's where a friend who was already working in Germany told me about some of the jobs in Germany, one of them being Foodora and Foodpanda. I felt I was a bit too inexperienced because it had not been even 1 year after I graduated. So I just lied thinking that maybe something sticks. I applied to a lot of jobs. I got a lot of rejections, but ultimately Delivery Hero made me go through the resume round, and then there were 4 interviews, 2 coding challenges. So yeah, it worked out well in the end. some major differences that I saw between the process here and back home in India is that there's no junior feeling, even though you are being recruited for a role that requires less years of experience. You don't feel that during the interview. You are treated as an equal. And also culturally, there's no sir or ma'am concept, so you don't have that at all. And yeah, like Sai mentioned, there's a focus more on soft skills than just hardcore hard skills, programming skills. And yeah, you get an equal opportunity to evaluate the company as well on from your side.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great insights. I think, guys, Rohan has given great insights for cracking placements, and like soft skills are focusing a lot. So, Saib, I'm sure you must have prepared as well for cracking this placement. As you said, 7 rounds are there. So, can you share some preparation tips and all of this?
Yep. So yeah, I think the major things that have helped me in my interview process were the projects that I've worked on. I mean, the hands-on knowledge that you get from working on projects, and you can explain those projects. And if you've worked on multiple domains like front end and back end, that is also a key point. So I was applying as a front end developer, but on my resume I had some back end projects, and I was also asked some questions about the back end. And because I could answer them, I also got an advantage. So that was also a very good thing, to have a really good hands-on knowledge on your projects and be able to defend them really well.
Sure.
After that, one thing that I saw also a bit different in the interview processes over here is, I'm not sure if it's in India also, but they also usually have almost every time a live coding session. Like if you're applying for a front-end developer, then you need to implement a feature, say a breadcrumbs from a string, and some kind of a feature within 15 minutes. So I would recommend that if students are applying and they are in front end or back end, they would just try to practice these kind of live coding sessions with their friends, so that they can have a practice of coding under pressure. So that is one important thing that I think. And lastly, I think giving more and more number of interviews always helps. All the experiences accumulate and always help in the interviews. All my interviews in India have also helped my interview which I was giving over here. So experience is also a key.
Sure, sure. I think the two main great insights were there, like experience and working under pressure. So that was
Yep.
great insights from Saib. I think perfect. So Ritesh, like since you have joined recently in US, so can you elaborate? Like people have a myth that they can go to US only through MS and all. So like how much MS play an important role? So one should do MS or not? Is it necessary to crack placement? To do MS to
Um,
crack placement?
No, it's absolutely there is absolutely no role of MS. Like, so when I was applying for the job, it's very important that you properly look on the job qualifications, what the company has specifically asked for. It's very important. Whenever you prepare your resume, you need to align your resume which aligns with those requirements. Because if your resume do not fit for the job, then you even get your resume shortlisted. You won't even get the email for the next online tests. But MS is absolutely not compulsory. If they have asked for bachelor, you will have equal opportunity as well as the person who is having MS.
Okay. I think great.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. So coming to Rohan, like Rohan, like there are always challenges to apply to MS, to apply to placements outside India. Like what challenges do you face, or what you will recommend to people for cracking placement outside India?
I think Saib and Ritesh both made some really valuable points. So I'll give you an insight, which was personally for me quite handy. When I had my first lunch with my manager when I joined Delivery Hero, I straight away asked him, "What made you hire me?" And one of the first things he said was that you were one of the first candidates who we were hiring for 1 or 2 years of experience, who during the interview process said, "I don't know the questions that were being asked." So he said that most of the candidates that he came across for 1 or 2 years of experience, they try to mix you into words. They try to create this aura that they know the answer but they don't know it. So as an interviewer he said that, I know I'm hiring you with 1 year of experience. I don't expect you to know everything that a 5-year experienced engineer knows. So, and in India, in college, in our pre-final and final years, we develop this habit of trying to fool our practical examiners, that you keep saying something during the viva, you don't want to have awkward silences, so you keep trying to fill them. So please don't do that. If you don't know the answer, just say you don't know. You have heard about the concept, but you don't really know the details. The second point is again that the focus is a lot more on soft skills. Just as an example, they won't ask you, and the focus is also on your way of thinking, your thought process. So they won't ask you why is constraint layout, just an Android example, why is constraint layout better than relative layout. They would ask you what are the difference between the two, and in which use case would you prefer which one. So they want to know where you start and where do you end up with your reasoning.
Sure, sure. So I think they were great insights. So they go into depth, I think a little bit, and they judge you on the honesty. I think that was a great insight. So if you don't know, you can say that you don't know. I think that was great. So coming to you again, Saib, like as you said, you cracked 7 rounds in that company. I'm sure you have must have applied to different companies. So like you must have know like which type of companies generally give international opportunities. So can you elaborate a little on this?
Usually companies, to be honest, usually companies that can afford a relocation agency for you and handle the visa process for you. And it's generally not the young startups. It's generally a mid-sized level company to a multinational company. So, for example, I'm in Berlin, so I can tell you a bit about companies in Berlin like Delivery Hero, Zalando, Wayfair. These are the companies that are hiring and can help you with your visa processes as well. And
Sure.
and I think finding such kind of companies on LinkedIn and Stack Overflow is a key also to find out which companies are actually giving opportunities overseas.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. So Ritesh, like since you have cracked Amazon outside India, in India many people crack Amazon, but like how much difficult it is to crack Amazon outside India? Is the process similar, or like it generally what happens in India is the same way?
I would say it wasn't like I have appeared for many interviews in India as well, but I would say comparatively it was relatively a bit easy.
Sure.
It wasn't. The process is absolutely similar. Like in college, we or anywhere we apply offline, we almost have the process. Like first of all, there is a resume shortlisting, then there are some online tests, and then you have a technical and HR interviews. And here it was also the same. Like first of all, resume shortlisting, then 3 rounds of online tests, and then 3 interviews, and that's it. The nothing is different. You just need to have a good grasp of basic concepts, a good grasp of one programming language, at least one is very like if you they don't want quantity, they want quality.
Sure.
So I would say the process is very similar. There is absolutely no difference. The different comes when applying for just for one thing. The difference is like the difference between on campus and off campus. Where in on campus we don't have a resume shortlisting, but while applying for off campus there are thousands of people who apply for the same job. So there is a resume shortlisting which is probably done by machine. Obviously a human cannot read 2000 resumes, so that's an important step.
Sure.
uh, Other than that, I don't see any difference from the processes in India that we see. They follow standard procedures.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I think like as they said, there is not much difference. So that's a great news for all of us. So Rohan, like due to the current COVID situation, I know like many people have a fear like what is happening outside India. So can you elaborate like how people are dealing with this situation to keep themselves motivated?
Yeah, so I can give you an example of Germany.
Sure.
So this fear is natural. It's among all of us that what's the situation in those countries if you get hired for a job. So Germany has a 15% tax, which is for medical insurance.
Rohan,
Germany, in Germany, everyone has a,
I think your
sorry.
net was not working for 1 to 2 seconds.
Okay.
Can you repeat again?
Yeah. So Germany has a mandatory health insurance for all of its residents.
Sure.
15% of your salary goes to your medical insurance. And Germany has a really good health system. So they know that they will let you work naturally till the point that their health system can support it. As soon as they feel that in 1 or 2 months we may go beyond the capacity of our health system, they impose a lockdown. So if you are living here in a lockdown situation, there's nothing to fear about. Just stay socially distant from everyone and you'll be fine.
Sure.
One more point is that because of Corona, there have been layoffs in companies like Booking and Airbnb, which are not from Germany. But since they are tourism related companies, so it's natural that they might have occurred huge losses. Luckily for me, I work in a food delivery company, and for us, business improved a little over the period. And you might not have heard of any layoffs from tech companies in Germany because the law in Germany protects the employees a lot. So we have a concept called Kurzarbeit, which means short-term work. So if your company cannot afford your salary, they, let's say Delivery Hero says that I can only afford 2 days out of your 5 day salary. So the government then pays the salary of the rest of the 3 days, but only 60%. So the benefit is both to the employers and employees. The employees don't lose their jobs, and the employers don't lose their salary.
I think we
So
have.
yeah,
Uh,
I think we lost again.
Sure, sure. I think let him come. Like now we can start taking new questions. I think let Rohan come and okay, Rohan. I think that was enough details. I got it. Like Germany has provided lot of opportunities, so that's a great positive for all of us again. So things are going fine, especially in tech jobs, as per Rohan. So perfect thing. Like coming to Ritesh. So Rachna is asking like since you have applied recently, like how to apply for international jobs. Can you elaborate a little on this?
I would say, yeah, sure, absolutely. So, first of all, you need to know how to use LinkedIn very properly. Like LinkedIn is a great tool if you use it properly.
Sure,
I had tons of job alerts on. I have specific job alerts like for entry level, most because I was recently graduating, so all of my filters were for entry level jobs only.
sure,
You can have just have those filters. Keep your LinkedIn profile very updated. You need to have all your recent achievements, education, everything on LinkedIn. Like because if an employer is looking for to hire employees, then he is probably also on LinkedIn. He is posting job on LinkedIn, then he's probably may not see your profile on LinkedIn. So if he gets a chance to see your profile, then it should not be, I think it should not be empty.
sure,
So you should have something very you should have a good profile on LinkedIn. It's very great tool. Like I started maintaining it from, I think, September 2019, and it took me around 2 months to like make it very good. Like it's not a one day job that you can do.
got it, got
So having a good LinkedIn profile is very good. Apart from that, you need, if you are specifically interested in a company, like I would say almost all the FANG companies, they have their own careers page. So and there they have their job listings. So you can like, even in my case, I opened Amazon.jobs portal, and if you want to be in a particular city or country, just apply filters, and if you see a job, you just apply for it. And like in my case, they helped me with the visa, and each and everything was handled by Amazon. They provide you each and everything. And like I didn't have to do a single job myself.
it.
I just had to pack my stuff and come here.
Okay. I think
And
I
I think that's it. How you can find jobs, you can find job opportunities. It's not that hard, but you need to have a right tool, I would say. There are a lot of tools, but right tool is important.
so great Ritesh, great. So Rohan, like I will come to Saib as well. So Rohan, can you give a quick insight on applying? Like anything you can see or whatever you have done for applying?
I would say go to Stack Overflow jobs, LinkedIn jobs. And one source that a lot of people miss out on is conferences. So when you see conferences that are happening in Europe, you see sponsors for those conferences, and they are usually tech companies. So they are sponsoring, they're spending money so that people who are attending those conferences know about them. So that's the first hint that these companies are really looking for more engineers. So go and apply at those companies.
Great, great insights, great insights. Saib, yeah, any insight from you?
Yeah, I think both of them have covered really good points. In addition, I would just like to mention that yes, you can find companies on LinkedIn and Stack Overflow, but sometimes companies can also take a bit of time to reply, and it would also be beneficial if you can reach out to the employees of the same companies on LinkedIn,
Sure.
asking for a referral. So that is also a thing that can work for you.
Perfect, 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 perfect. I think guys, they have said that common things: LinkedIn, Stack Overflow jobs, and the conferences which Rohan has suggested. So I think great insights from
Yeah.
you.
So
Yes.
adding to Sahib's point, like regarding the time, uh, they do take a time. They do take a lot of time. Like I applied in November 2019, and I got my first reply email in February. It They took around 2 months to just consider me for even for the tests, and I got my interview email after 3 months.
Sure.
So the whole process was around 5.5 months. You need to be patient.
Sure, sure. I think great thing. So guys, be patient. Saib has also suggested. Rohan may also suggest, and I think everybody is suggesting. So be patient. You will get that opportunity. Great. So I think this is a good question for you, Rohan. Did you learn German too for cracking these companies, or like local language is important or not?
This is one of the biggest myths that we as candidates in India have, that you
Yeah.
need to learn the language to apply for an IT job. The answer is no, you don't need to learn the language. I was hired without any knowledge of German. I would still assume that I have no knowledge of German in these 2 years. So you
Sure,
don't need to learn German, but it might be a plus in some situations where your job is not that technical and you have to deal with clients. But if it's purely technical, you may not need it.
sure. So I think great insight. So technical jobs may not require that German language, but in non-tech jobs, that may be there. So great thing. Like coming to you, Saib, this is a good suggestion. So do they hire fresher like you both are experienced, you and Rohan. So do they hire freshers as well? In that.
That's a good question. So I have given referrals of a couple of my friends that I've worked with, and they had a lesser experience than I had. And they did consider freshers with 1 year of experience at least, because at least you have a good hands-on experience of the projects. But they might be a little skeptical about college freshers, and but if you've done good projects in college, then that can help you. So
Sure,
you need to have good hands-on experience, irrespective of
sure.
how you've worked.
Sure. So I think as per Saib said, like working on projects can help. Like anything good on resume can help. It can be a great project. It can be a great college. It can be a great anything which can stand out from others. I think that can help. So great insight from there. Like coming to you, Rohan again. You must have known like are international placements happening in COVID situation as well? Like people have a myth since they are in
Yeah,
India. So are things happening or not?
yeah, it's one of another myth.
Right.
Hiring is still booming right now. So
Right.
companies who are not impacted by the COVID situation or have in some way benefited, they are hiring more and more now that they know that people are working from home as well.
Sure.
So one other thing is that if you get hired right now, you may not be invited immediately to Berlin because of the situation. So you can work from home for 6 months to 1 year, and once this whole situation settles down, you will be asked to relocate to Berlin. So don't
Okay.
feel disheartened because of the situation. It's a benefit for you that you can work from home from India for companies over here.
Sure. Sure. I think perfect. Perfect. Like
As you
coming.
have a real example, like I have been hired during COVID-19, so
Right.
that's not an issue that you can't be hired during Corona.
Sure. 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 So I was coming to you, Ritesh, only like which most skills are required for international placement. Like you are the recent one. So can you elaborate the main important skills like people can follow?
Uh, I would the main skills that helped me coming here, like I would say they were the soft skills more, because Amazon really focuses on their leadership principles, and like in a normal interview you can expect that they have 50 minutes of technical and just 10 minutes of HR. But in my case there were like 30 minutes of technical and 30 minutes of behavior questions. They focus a lot. So my experience is as a student when I was leading some of societies in college, being a TA at Coding Ninjas, being a research intern, they all helped me a lot to gain a lot of experiences, which I would say helped me to have a lot of examples which I could give during those behavioral questions being asked.
Sure. Sure.
I mean, don't only indulge into technical stuff, guys. Do other things as well. Being in college, you have a lot to do. So apart from just having technical skills, you need to have interpersonal skills as well, because one day you will be dealing with the clients.
Right, right, right. I think great insight from Ritesh. So I think in international placements, especially, tech skills are obviously important because that is your job. But equally important are the soft skills. Soft skills. So that's a great insight, and I think all three of them are focusing on that. So great thing. Like coming to you, Rohan. Like you may take interviews as well now. So like are interview questions comparatively easier as compared to India? Like someone is going as a front end engineer or back end engineer in India, and someone is going to international. So are interview questions in terms of technical, are they easier or equal?
Sometimes not easier, but sometimes similar, sometimes different. Just as an example, in India, I feel that the focus is a lot more on data structure and algorithms, while
Sure,
over here, it's a lot more on the projects you did.
sure,
So they tend to evaluate when you talk about your project, they tend to evaluate if he's bluffing or if the candidate really knows what they did. So the DS algo part comes in the first round for the first two questions, but after that, it's about your projects and your experience.
sure, sure. Great, great. Uh, sure. Saib, this is what you can answer. What is the extra thing that experienced people get like when you are applying for an international placement, like you are focusing that experience is there, so what is the extra thing that an experienced people get as compared to a fresher?
Responsibilities, I would say, within the company, you can get responsibility of handling a project, of
Sure.
interacting more with people, and yeah, managing stuff. But yes, I think if you are also joining as a fresher and you can portray that you can handle the responsibility and you can prove yourself, then it doesn't matter if you're an experienced or not.
Sure, 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 sure. I think Ritesh, this is a good question for you. Like people have a myth of computer programming a lot in India. Like Saib and this are focusing on more on projects since you've cracked Amazon. That focus is a little on competitive. So can you elaborate like how much competitive programming played a role in international placements?
Um, Guys, considering competitive program, I think it's a different domain from
Sure,
interviews, because in interviews we generally focus on the problem solving skills of a candidate rather than focusing on how good he is or she is at computing or mathematics. Because I wouldn't say all competitive programming questions are based on mathematics, but yeah, they generally do. So
sure,
I in interviews I don't see like they are asking you a competitive programming question. They don't expect you to just jump onto the most optimized solution. You grow gradually, like maybe you start with a brute force, then a bit more optimized, than the most optimized one.
sure,
But like in my case, or in any other case, I would say that competitive programming is not that much important. Like
sure,
having a good data structure and algorithm skills is important, but competitive programming, no. Like I'm not I wasn't really a good competitive programmer, but I focused on the other skills, like maintaining good data structure, hold of data structures and algorithms, developing soft skills. But competitive programming, I wouldn't say
sure.
isn't that much or necessary. No, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect.
Just to add on that point. So if you are, it also depends on the company you're targeting. If you are one of those people who
Yeah.
really would like to work on one of the FANG companies, Facebook, Amazon, Google, and the other two, your focus on competitive programming may help you to quickly think on your feet during the interviews. So it's not a skill that it's not really useful, but in some cases it is the most useful skill you can have for interviews. So
Sure,
think about the company where you're applying and then try to evolve your skill set in that direction.
sure, sure. Perfect, perfect.
Yeah, companies matter a lot. Like all companies have different requirements.
Sure. Got it, got it, got it. I think that's a very very good question, and I would like Rohan to answer it. So this is a very good question because people are asking how much salary difference is there, like in an India job and an outside placement or that, because I think that is a major difference. So can you elaborate, not the numbers, but what is the actual number difference in terms of salaries?
I'm glad you asked this question. This is one
Right.
of the first questions you have when you're applying.
Sure,
So I can give you the number that is legal to give out. If you're
sure,
applying for a highly skilled job, which is doctors and engineers in Germany, the minimum salary that the employer has to give you is 42,000 euros annually.
Sure.
But when now you immediately try to convert that to INR and you think it's lakhs and lakhs, so it's a lot, you have the rich life. But just to put down your dreams a little,
Mhm.
Germany has a tax of 42%. So in India, you have tax brackets of 0, 5, 10, 15, and then 30 is the max. In Germany, your salary is taxed at 42% after you go beyond that threshold, or 42 or 50,000. That's because you also have mandatory health insurance, pension, income tax, and all of that sums up to 42%. So if I try to compare my salary and my savings to a friend in India, our savings are almost the same.
Sure.
Salaries may look much higher than that in India because of the conversion, but savings are almost the same.
Sure. 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 So I think, guys, they have cleared. So it's not a much of a difference, but obviously there may be a little bit of difference, but that's absolutely okay. So don't go into the hype that they're earning this. So that's okay. Sure. I think that's a good question for you, Ritesh. People are saying like they have learned DS and Algo in a particular language. Do international placements look at languages like you should know in C++ only or Java only or Python only? As is there anything they focus?
No, no, they don't focus on a particular language. Never. Like, so they just when I was giving my interview, I was given a problem, and when I opened the editor, like you can select any of the language. There were 28 options. I remember very clearly. There were 28 options, and you can select any language. There
Sure,
is no language restriction. No.
sure, perfect, perfect. Okay. Uh, Saib, coming to you, I think I focused a lot on this. So you have said like projects can be there. Like people have done saying they have done tons or two internships. Will that be equal to an experience thing if they have done
Sure,
anything?
I think so. Yes, I think if they've done a project, significant enough project, which has made an impact or went live and they can defend it well, I think it can be equivalent to having an experience.
Sure, sure. Coming to you, Rohan. Let's take last three questions now. Like this is one of the most common question. Like CGPA. Like in India, there can be a focus on CGPA. Like how much CGPA matters in international placements?
I only know about the experience that I had and from the interviews I've been a part of in Delivery Hero.
Sure.
It does not matter unless it's from a Stanford or a Harvard. I don't think nobody cares. There are people who are not even aware of IITs in India. So your institution, your percentage might not matter. All they care about is how you do in that 1 hour of interview, because they cannot hire someone and say that he did not do well in the interview, but he's from this good institution and had 90 percentage. So that's why I hired this person. So focus on your skills more than getting that percentage higher up. Percentage
Sure.
might matter in different cases, like applying for higher education. So choose your own path and see what matters for you.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. Great. Coming to you, Ritesh. People are asking like branch. Like one is CGPA, but like somebody is from not from a computer science background, he's from an EC background. So how much role does branch play for international placements?
Um, I haven't seen a job listing where they specifically mention that you need to have a bachelor's in CS.
Sure.
They always say you need to have a bachelor's degree or equivalent. They never specify, like all most of the times. Most of the time, you can see. I am not saying that you won't see anywhere, but like I have seen some of my friends who were from electrical and ECE, even from someone from mechanical, even they are getting into tech jobs
Sure.
like coding. Yeah, if you are like passionate about coding, you are good, you want to follow this path, then you just want to have the appropriate skills. That's it you want.
Sure.
So if you have those appropriate skills, you can crack those interviews. But
Perfect.
like if you're saying that being an EC student, you don't have any programming knowledge or any data structure knowledge, then I can't say that you will get into this field.
Sure.
But you need to have appropriate skills. It's not the branch that matter, it's the skills those matters.
Sure. Sure. Perfect. Perfect. Saib, this is a good question for you. Like, like what would be the approach from first year to get an international placement? Like somebody is in college and his aim is only good for going for international placement. What should be the path he or she should follow? Any guidance you can give?
That's a good question. I mean, to be prepared from the first year, it's a good thing. I think, yeah. To be honest, I would share my experience from first year onwards and second year onwards. I had started learning or doing projects with Coding Ninjas, and I had done a couple of projects which went live and which also helped me gain some experience. And due to those projects, I got internships. Due to those internships, I got jobs, and it keeps on building up. So I think joining Coding Ninjas or having good projects that you can start working on from second year or third year onwards is a very good first step that you can take.
Sure. I think so. Saib is focusing a lot on projects. So do projects in your college life that will eventually land you in international placements. Otherwise, luck is there, but definitely that can be there. I think this is the last question, and I will ask Rohan to answer this. So Rohan, like people are asking, people are going for international placement mostly in US. People have a myth, I want to go to US, US, US. So how much difference is like in Germany or US or Canada? There are different, like how one should choose the country where he or she should go.
Okay, one of the good things about Germany as compared to US or Canada is that Germany for higher education, not on the job side, does not have a tuition fee.
Okay.
So one of your major expenses when you're doing an MS is a tuition fee. Germany does not have that. So when you try to apply for jobs without the MS route, all three are valid options. But when you're trying to apply with an MS so that it makes your path easier to safely settle in that country, Germany might be a good option. Other than that, with US, one problem with direct placements is the visa. It's a lottery system. They cannot just recruit anyone and give them an H-1B visa. So have that in mind. In Germany, as long as you have the skills and you have the right degree and the skills, you can be hired.
Great. Great insights. Great insights. So I think let's just wrap this session now, guys. I think we have answered most of the questions. Now they are coming repeating questions. So thanks a lot for your time, guys. And I think we all enjoyed the webinar. So thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.